Do you believe that Allah can enter into his creation?
That's a good question. For everyone to hear it, the question is asking, can Allah enter his creation?
Yes.
As a Muslim, we believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he does the action, not just pure from will, he does an action according to his wisdom, okay? Now, the creation, if we establish that Allah is the greatest and bigger than his creation, bigger than what? His creation. So it is illogical to say the one who's bigger than his creation, he's inside his creation.
Fantastic.
Because why? When you believe that, you believe God's inside what? The pool, the toilet,
Great.
the woman private part, the man private part.
Allow me to
No, wait.
I have a follow-up question then.
Do you believe God's everywhere?
Okay, no, I'm asking you questions.
No, I'm
now.
asking you.
No.
Stop running away. Stop running away.
I'm not running away.
I allowed you to ask me multiple questions.
I'm running
about
away.
my faith. Now let me do the same.
No problem.
Stop running away.
Let him.
There you go.
Let him talk.
Redeem yourself.
Let him talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, you all heard Shamsi say that it would not be fitting of God's wisdom that he should enter into his creation. I therefore submit the following verse as evidence.
Yeah, get it.
Will you stop?
But I know where he's
Stop being rude.
Stop being rude.
Sorry.
Stop being rude.
That was rude, sorry.
Of course it was rude. You're Shamsi.
No,
So-
no. You know why?
No.
Look. You believe it's okay for the Christian
Here he goes again.
babies.
Changing
You're
the subject. Changing the
Oh,
subject.
you're a terrorist.
Changing the
Bob, you're a
subject.
terrorist.
You're
You're a terrorist.
I'll deal with that.
Relax. I know you're panicking.
Christian
but you're
terrorist
debating
panicking.
him.
Bro.
You're debating
Bro.
him.
Hey, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said,
Stop
"Make me
wasting
glorify Allah."
time.
Anyway, go on.
Okay,
Look, I'm relaxing. Go on.
thank you very much.
Go on. You believe God has nothing.
So, he said that it would not be fitting of God's wisdom that Allah should enter into his creation. I submit the following verse, and then I want his commentary.
Yeah, brothers, let him speak. I'm not terrorist.
Surah 75,
I'm also supposed
so ayah 22 and 23. Some faces that day will beam in brightness and beauty, looking towards their Lord.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Shamsi, is how can they look towards their Lord if Allah doesn't enter into his creation when vision is a creation?
Okay, watch out. This is a joke. This is a joke. No,
Answer the question. Answer the question. And for real.
Wait,
For real.
brothers.
Your book is for real. Your book is for real. Your book is for real.
When this Muslim says that Allah can enter his creation according to his will, he is actually opening the door to a major theological implication. Entering space and time is not impossible for Allah. And if Allah is able to enter his creation, then the classic Islamic objection to the incarnation, that God could never take on human form, immediately collapses. If entering creation is possible for Allah, then there is no philosophical or theological basis for claiming that God is forbidden from revealing himself or appearing in a particular form. In other words, the door he just opened removes the very foundation of Islam's anti-incarnation argument. But only a few seconds later, the same Muslim insists that Allah cannot enter creation because Allah is greater or bigger than his creation. Here, the logical problem becomes obvious. Saying that Allah is bigger is not a physical description, because in Islamic theology, Allah has no dimensions, no size, and no spatial limits. Claiming that Allah cannot enter creation because he is too big treats God as though he has physical measurements. This is a category mistake, confusing a metaphysical attribute, divine greatness, with a physical property, large, small, long, wide. And even more than that, the moment someone says that Allah cannot do something, they are admitting that there is a limitation outside of Allah that restrains him, something that is utterly incompatible with the idea of an all-powerful God. This is precisely where the contradiction emerges. On one hand, he claims Allah can enter creation. On the other, he claims Allah cannot. Can and cannot both be true at the same time in the same sense. Logically, this violates the principle of non-contradiction, the most fundamental law of rational thought. A thing cannot be both true and not true in the same respect. As a result, the Muslims' statements cancel each other out and collapse under their own inconsistency. The contradiction does not stop at logic. It strikes directly at Islamic theology. If Allah truly can enter creation, then Islam loses its primary objection to the incarnation. Muslims can no longer claim God cannot enter the world when their own argument admits that Allah is fully capable of doing so if he wills. But if Allah cannot enter creation, a far more serious problem arises. How can believers see Allah on the last day, as described in Qur'an 75? Seeing is an act that requires location, direction, presence, and spatial relation. For any being to be seen by the human eye, that being must be present in a form that interacts with visual space. If Allah cannot enter space at all, then that direct vision becomes ontologically impossible. In other words, denying God's presence in creation makes the Qur'anic promise incoherent.
brothers, okay. Wallahi, we as a Muslim, it's matter to speak.
It's vision of creation.
Wait, let me speak. We as a Muslim, when we hear both speaking, we should say Alhamdulillah for Islam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's vision of creation.
Now, if watch, Prophet Muhammad explained,
my question is,
let me speak.
Is vision of creation?
Vision is creation, but Allah's not inside.
Thank you. Vision is a creation.
I haven't finished. Let me finish. My brothers, let me deal with the best debater for the Christians.
Go on.
Embarrassments.
I want to hear it.
Now, the moon. When I look at the moon, is the moon inside my eyes?
No. Thank you.
Or no? Yes or no? It's inside my eyes, the moon.
The optics is.
No, the moon.
Yes.
The moon.
Because it is in creation.
You
see the moon. Because it is in creation.
I was giving an example. Me watching the moon.
Yes.
Allow me to finish now.
Yeah, and then I'll reply.
No, I haven't finished.
Okay.
I was giving an example. If within the creation, sometimes you can observe something and does not necessitate it's inside your eyes.
Agreed.
And we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the Prophet Muhammad said, there is the heavens and there is the paradise and there is the throne and Allah is above it. So us looking at Allah does not necessitate Allah is within his creation.
So
do you understand that?
Let me reply.
Do you understand that?
Let me reply. Let me reply. He said that he is above it.
Yeah.
That's the argument that he's making. He's making it from this idea that Allah is above the heavens, above the earth, above the throne, above
So
creation.
it's not inside the creation.
1 second. 1 second.
Separate.
1 second.
Embarrassment.
Now
wallahi.
notice he's interrupting.
Embarrassment.
Notice he's interrupting.
Interrupting,
So listen to what the Quran says, because the Quran contradicts
That's
him.
not the Quran.
Let me finish.
That's
Let me
not the
finish.
Quran.
It's not a hadith. This is a translation.
No,
of
that's not the
hadith.
Quran. You read it. Stop lying.
No,
read.
this is.
Where's the
Listen,
verse? Where's the verse?
Listen.
Yes.
Shamsi, calm down.
But you
much coffee.
You're getting excited.
Too much
coffee, yeah.
Too much
I have to
coffee.
accept that. I have to accept
Too
that.
much
I need to
coffee.
cut down of coffee.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Drug
Bobby, I
abuse.
need to cut stuff.
Shamsi's
Shut your
admitted
rubbish.
drug abuse. But anyway, let's drink.
Coffee, drug abuse.
Right.
So
Some
we should go back.
faces. Listen.
Anyway.
Let me make my argument, Shamsi, and then reply.
Yes.
Give the reference,
It
Bob.
says
Give the
in
reference.
the Quran, Surah 75. So this isn't a hadith. This is a
Yeah.
Quran.
Yes.
Surah 75,
You're wrong,
ayah 22 and 23. Listen to this.
Yes.
Some faces.
Will be darkened.
Listen, let me finish. No,
I
that's
have to
not what it
memorize.
says. That's
We'll
not,
memorize
well,
it
you
for you.
memorized it wrong because it doesn't say that.
So
Let me finish. Will you stop interrupting, Shamsi? Listen.
Alhamdulillah for you, Bob.
Some
Thank you for
faces are created. That day, days are created. Will beam, light is created. In brightness and beauty, these are created things. Looking, vision is created.
Is he serious?
Towards,
Why is looking? Why is
direction
looking?
is created. Their Lord. Looking
That's
is
not the
vision.
Quran, that's explanation.
1 second,
Oh my
Shamsi. Let me
God.
finish.
Go, expose
Calm
yourself.
down. Yeah, I'm going to.
Carry on.
Shamsi's argument was,
Yeah.
when I look at the moon is not in my eyes.
Yeah.
But the fact is, if he is looking to the moon, it is because the moon is there to see.
So
And
does
if
that
you
mean?
can see it, vision, sight is a creation. So
But not the thing
Allah
you look
has
at.
entered
Wait.
his creation of this verse makes no sense.
No. Ikhwan, it's my time now. Brothers and sisters. Ikhwan, please, everyone. Brothers and sisters. Ladies and gentlemen. Bob, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Bob,
You're
watch this.
welcome.
Bob is ghanima for us.
Yes.
Why?
Go on.
Watch it. Huh?
Go on.
If
Shaking,
Allah,
Shamsi, shaking.
again, I'm like that naturally to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Too much coffee. Too much coffee.
Alright, now let me speak.
Too much coffee.
If Allah is above His creation, okay?
Yep.
Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists without
Yep.
any doubt.
Yep.
And if Allah exists, doesn't mean He exists within His creation. Because we know when Allah, before the creation was Allah. So when Allah created the creation, He created outside Himself. not inside himself.
Inside
Oh,
created.
No, outside. No, wait.
Inside created.
But Allah is not created.
Inside
Allah, no, wait.
created.
Wait, let me speak.
Inside,
Let me
no
speak.
Allah.
Let me
Created.
speak. Let me speak. Let me speak.
Yeah, please do.
Let me speak.
Yeah. Answer
So
the
Allah,
question.
so Allah is outside the creation, above His creation,
Yes.
and paradise
got that
is
bit.
the highest.
that bit. Yeah,
So
we
when
got that bit.
wait. So when you say Allah is inside the creation, what does it mean? He has to be inside the creation, but above Allah there's
Inside
wait.
created.
Allow me to finish. Above Allah there is nothing. Beside Allah there is no creation. What is below Allah, outside Allah is the creation. So when you are looking at Allah, He's not
There
in the
you go.
creation.
When
Check
you
out
are
yourself.
looking
When you are
at
looking
Allah,
at Allah.
vision
Check out
is a
yourself.
created thing.
Yeah.
But
Allah
Allah's
is
not
not-
just
no, no,
done
take
it.
it.
Thank you.
When you are looking at Allah, vision is created.
No,
So
take it.
Allah
It's not making
has
no sense.
entered His creation.
In Islamic theology, human vision is a created faculty. It is bound by space, direction, distance, and light. Vision does not function in a metaphysical vacuum. It only operates when an object stands in a particular relationship to the senses. For that reason, if vision is a created thing, and that created thing is used to see Allah, then logically Allah must stand in a real relationship with that created faculty. That relationship cannot be merely abstract because seeing is not a mental concept. Seeing is an ontological interaction. An object must be present before the subject. Whenever someone sees something, whether it is light, a tree, or even a spiritual being, whatever is seen must present itself within the field of perception. Even if Muslims argue that Allah will create a special kind of sight in the afterlife, that special sight is still an actuality within creation, a real act performed by a created being directed toward an object. And the object of that act must in some way be connected to creation. The act of seeing Allah means that Allah becomes the term of a visual relation. Such a relation cannot occur if Allah is entirely outside the domain of creation. A created faculty cannot reach something that exists wholly beyond space, beyond direction, and beyond every relational category. If Allah has no spatial relation or presence that can be grasped by created sight, then seeing Allah becomes ontologically impossible, not merely difficult, but truly impossible. Therefore, if the believers truly see Allah, then Allah must present Himself in a mode of presence that can enter into relation with creation. And the moment Allah enters into such a relation for the act of vision, He has in some form entered the domain of creation, whether through direction, manifestation, appearance, or localized presence. This is exactly why the Muslim in the video panicked. The implication strikes at the core of Islamic theology. If Allah has a spatial relation with creation on the Day of Judgment, then Allah can enter space. But if Allah truly cannot enter space, then the promised vision of Allah, described in Qur'an 75:22-23, cannot occur logically. Thus, the conclusion cannot be avoided. If a created being can see Allah, Allah must be present in a way that can be apprehended by creation. And such a presence necessarily involves a spatial relation, at least in the mode of perception, directly contradicting the Islamic claim that Allah can never enter creation or interact with space.